A union pension after 30 years in the trades pays around $1,800 a month. Social Security adds another $2,000. That's roughly $3,800 a month total retirement income for a guy who gave 3 decades to a trade. Run that number against what life actually costs right now and tell me if that feels like enough. Here's a scene I want you to picture. Guy retires after 32 years in a union shop. Good wages his whole career. Never missed a day. Did everything he was supposed to do. His wife makes dinner the first Friday he's not going back to work. And after dinner, they sit down at the kitchen table with a piece of paper and a pen, and they do the budget for the first time as retired people. Pension, Social Security, monthly expenses. The numbers don't work. Not by a little. By enough to change the whole picture of what retirement looks like. And nobody, not the union, not the hall, not a single person in 32 years ever sat him down and showed him what that piece of paper was going to look like. That scene happens more than most people know. And this video is about why. My name is Steve. I spent years in construction and as a track welder for a railroad. I've watched guys I respect retire from union shops and find out that handled and comfortable are two completely different things. Hit subscribe and let's get into it. Here's what this video is not. This is not an anti-union video. Not even close. The union got you better wages. It got you protection on the job. It fought for benefits that most non-union workers never see. That matters. That's real. This video is about one specific thing the union was never designed to do, and that's fund your entire retirement by itself. The pension is a foundation. The problem is most guys treat it like a finished house. Let's run the actual numbers, because most guys never have. Private sector union pensions vary widely by trade and by fund. A pipe fitter, an iron worker, an electrician, they're all going to see different numbers depending on their local, their years of service, and how well their fund is managed. But for a lot of trades workers putting in 30 years, a realistic monthly pension lands somewhere between $1,500 and $2,500 a month. Some guys get more, some guys get less. The number depends heavily on your specific fund and how many years you contributed. That sounds okay in isolation until you look at what retirement actually costs. Let's build that kitchen table budget right now for 2026. Housing first. If you own your home outright, which is the goal for most guys, you're still paying property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Call it $800 to $1,000 a month minimum. If you're renting, you're looking at $1,500 to $2,000 or more, depending on where you live. Utilities, electric, gas, water, internet, phone, another $350 to $400 a month. Food, groceries for 2 people, modest eating, $600 a month if you're careful. Transportation, you're not commuting anymore, but you still need a vehicle. Insurance, fuel, maintenance, registration, $400 a month conservative. Healthcare. This is the one that blindsides almost everyone. Medicare covers a lot, but not everything. You're still paying Part B premiums, around $185 a month in 2026. Add a supplement or Medicare Advantage plan, dental, vision, prescriptions. A retired couple can easily spend $600 to $800 a month out of pocket on healthcare, even with Medicare. And that number tends to go up every year, not down. The older you get, the more medicine costs, and Medicare doesn't cover everything. Guys who planned their retirement budget at 62 and never adjusted it find themselves in real trouble at 72. Add it all up. A modest retirement, owning your home, nothing fancy, runs somewhere between $3,000 and $3,500 a month at minimum. More if you rent. More if you have ongoing medical needs. More if you want to occasionally do something that isn't watching television. Now put that against $1,800 from the pension. That's the piece of paper at the kitchen table. That's the moment the numbers don't add up. The gap is real. And Social Security is how most guys expect to fill it. The average Social Security retirement benefit in 2026 is right around $2,076 a month, according to the Social Security Administration. For a guy who worked a physical trade his whole career and retired at 62, which happens a lot when the body makes that decision, the benefit is likely lower than average. Taking Social Security early reduces your benefit permanently. Taking it at 62 instead of waiting until 67 can cut your monthly check by 25 to 30%. And here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Men in physically demanding jobs often leave the workforce years earlier than people in less physical careers. The knees go, the back goes, the shoulders file a complaint. Most trades guys don't retire at 65 because they plan to. They retire because the body made the call. That means a lot of guys are claiming Social Security earlier than intended, taking the reduced benefit and spending more years in retirement than they budgeted for. 20 years of retirement instead of 15 is a very different financial picture. So let's say you get $1,800 from the pension and $1,700 from Social Security because you retired early. That's $3,500 a month before Medicare premiums, before any debt you're still carrying, before the furnace goes out or the truck needs work. There's no margin, none. One unexpected expense and you're dipping into savings if you have any. Most guys don't have much. And the reason most guys don't have much isn't that they didn't work hard enough. It's that nobody ever showed them how to build the gap between what comes in and what goes out. That's exactly what the ebook I put together was built to fix. It's a no BS financial playbook written specifically for guys on a trade income. Walks you through finding the leaks in your spending, killing your debt with a real strategy, and building the financial breathing room that actually makes a retirement plan work. It comes with a debt payoff calculator that takes your real numbers, every balance, every interest rate, every minimum payment, and gives you the exact date you'll be debt-free if you stick to the plan. Not a rough estimate, a real date, because once you see it, you can work toward it. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to check that out. Speaking of things nobody tells you, here's a conversation that almost never happens at the Union Hall. A significant number of multi-employer pension funds, the kind that cover trade workers across multiple employers, have had serious funding problems. Before the American Rescue Plan of 2021 stepped in with federal assistance, the PBGC's multi-employer insurance program was projected to run out of money by 2026. That legislation helped stabilize things for a lot of plans, but not all funds are in good shape. There are still plans sitting in critical and declining status, meaning they're at risk of not being able to pay full promised benefits down the road. Every multi-employer fund files an annual report. It tells you whether the fund is in green zone, yellow zone, or red zone. Most members have never looked at it. It's public information. You have a right to it. And if your fund is in yellow or red, you need to know that before you retire, not after. This isn't about scaring you. It's about giving you information you deserve to have. Now here's the counterintuitive moment, and this one lands hard. The non-union guy who started a Roth IRA at 35 and put $300 a month into a simple S&P 500 index fund for 25 years at the historical average of 10% annually. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but nearly 70 years of data is hard to argue with. He is sitting on roughly $400,000 in tax-free money at 60. He has no pension. He has no union health care. He has Social Security and whatever he saved himself. The union brother who has the pension and the health care and never opened a Roth because he figured retirement was handled, he retires with $1,800 a month from the pension, Social Security, and maybe $30,000 in savings. He's not broke, but he has zero margin. Same years of work, completely different financial position in retirement. The pension is an asset, a real one. But it needs backup, and the backup most guys never built is a relatively simple thing that compounds quietly over decades while you're out there doing the work. The union brother who put $200 a month into a Roth IRA for 25 years alongside his pension contributions, starting at 35, is looking at somewhere around $250,000 in tax-free money by 60. That money grows tax-free. When you pull it out in retirement, you pay zero taxes on it. For a working guy who's been in a lower tax bracket his whole career, paying the tax now and never paying it again is one of the best financial moves available. That $250,000 isn't life-changing on its own, but combined with the pension and Social Security, it turns a tight retirement into a comfortable one. The margin. That's what it buys. The Roth IRA contribution limit in 2026 is $7,500 a year if you're under 50. That's $625 a month max. Most guys don't need to hit the max. Even $100 a month started today changes the retirement math over 20 years. Here's the 3 things to do with all of this. First, look up your pension fund's annual funding notice. Your plan administrator is required by law to send it to you every year. It tells you the funded status of your plan, green, yellow, or red. If you haven't been reading it, start now. If your fund is in critical status, that's information you need to build your retirement plan around the real number, not the promised one. Second, open a Roth IRA if you don't have one. Open one at Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. Put it in a simple S&P 500 index fund. Set up automatic contributions. The account itself takes about 20 minutes to open. Most guys put it off for years because it feels complicated. It isn't. Third, know your Social Security projected benefit before you decide when to retire. Go to ssa.gov and create a free account. Your projected benefit at 62, 67, and 70 is right there. The difference between claiming at 62 versus waiting until 67 can be $400 to $600 a month for the rest of your life. That decision deserves more than 5 minutes of thought. The union gave you something real: better wages, protection, a pension that most private sector workers will never have. Don't take that for granted, but a foundation is not a house. The pension is the starting point. Most guys never built anything on top of it. The gap between what the pension pays and what a comfortable retirement actually costs, that gap is yours to fill. And the guys who fill it aren't the ones who made the most money. They're the ones who started early and stayed consistent. You've already done the hard part. You showed up. You put in the years. Now make sure the retirement matches the work. Subscribe and don't miss what's coming next. We've got a lot more of this to cover.